you have any tips or tricks you'd like to share with the guys?
One of the things that is a real time saver is if you're sanding Bondo, once you've applied it all over your panel, sand it down while it's still wet. One thing I see a lot of guys, a real major mistake is they'll let their Bondo dry and it gets hard as a rock. Then they start trying to shape it or sand it to create a nice shape. At that point, it's like standing on a piece of granite. You're creating a lot of dust and you're not getting a lot of shaping. And a real quick time saver is to actually carve the Bondo while it's still in the tacky, damp stage and just gently shave it to the desired end result. It'll save you a lot of time later.
It goes through a little bit more sandpaper, but it saves you a lot of time in the long run, that's for sure.
And one final technique I do is I take a metal Bondo spreader and I actually have ground metal Bondo spreaders into desired shapes, and I use that to actually carve the damp or wet Bondo to the desired shape before I get on it with the sandpaper. And that way I'm not clogging up my sandpaper before I really get a nice shape on the panel.
What's your favorite car you've ever worked on?
Probably a 3 Series BMW. Just because of the build quality of the automobile coupled with the sound insulation. I remember I took apart a couple panels in the floorboard and I found foam that was over a foot thick in some areas. So that was really a car that, while working on it, it showed me that that manufacturer goes to the next level to insulate the car from road noise or any kind of external noise.
What component in an audio system do you feel is the most important?
The source unit, the head unit, the CD player, is the most critical part, just because everything originates there. It's the foundation from which the rest of the audio system is built.
Which part of the installation do you think is most important?
I would tell them to focus on two things. The first and foremost being the overall sound quality of the vehicle and the placement of the audio drivers. I feel a lot of installers lay out their car system and then a week or two before the show they throw their speakers in whatever area they'll fit. I would try to reverse engineer it and actually install them where they need to go and then build the rest of the system around that point.
What's one thing you'd like to see car audio companies do different, approach different, whether anything from marketing to products, just anything you'd like to see changed?
I think the manufacturers really cut their own throat in a sense. They set such a high standard for the cars that they bring to shows and they actually sponsor and put money into that it turns a lot of the do-it-yourselfers and the amateur guys away from the industry, because they look at some of these cars and they think, oh, I could never compete or even park my car next to that one because I don't have $1 million. I think the manufacturers should take a step back and do a grassroots marketing strategy.
What's your daily driver car today?
My daily driver car today is a 1998 Chevy pickup truck. It's a standard cab, full-size pickup. Not a lot of room for audio system, so I've had to get really creative and use the area behind the back seat and the lower kick panels, and I actually got a nice sounding system in there.
If you could trade that car straight across for any car in the world, only stipulation being you can't customize it. So you've got to live with the audio, you've got to live with the wheels and tires, what would you trade it for?
I would probably trade it for an Audi. I think the Audi is a really well-built vehicle, has a great audio system, and that would be my first choice, followed by a BMW.
Very good.
This is my DIY guide to mobile electronic systems. It's available on Amazon.com and at most major bookstores throughout the country.